preconceptions. When one mentions the word construction, the image that often comes to mind is one of hardship, of dust, of the clamor of machinery, and of sweat rolling down sun-darkened faces. This is an undeniable reality that is part of the larger picture. But if we stop there, this world is filled with trouble, a symphony of emotions, and a profound, subtle source of joy that quietly exists in construction sites everywhere. Construction, at its core, is not merely a job of muscle and concrete. It is a creative journey, a song of collaboration, and a testament to the one that has This essay will be a voyage into that world. Discover and celebrate simple yet incredibly powerful joys. Joys built from the very basis of parts of the buildings. The joy in construction is not an easily visible emotion. It does not glitter like the glass of a finished skyscraper, nor is it as loud as a concrete. It is an undercurrent, a spiritual resonance between people, materials, and space. It is present in the sparkling eyes of the architect sketching the first lines, in the knowing nod of the engineer who has solved a difficult structural problem, in the hearty laughter of workers as they hoist a massive beam into the together. It is a joy of formation, of transformation, of witnessing an intangible idea gradually take on a tangible form, standing majestically against the sky. Let us, for a moment, set aside the preconceptions of a dry and arduous profession. Let us listen closely to the symphony of the construction site, look deeply into the hands of the craftsman, and feel the pulse of the rising from the foundations. Because there, amidst the sea of chaotic sounds, a genuine joy and righteous pride is being built, as strong as the structures they the joy of creation, wisely as form. The most vital, perhaps most intense joy in the construction industry is the joy of creation. It is a miraculous process that transforms thoughts and dreams from the mind into a physical entity that can touch, use, and can endure for generations. This process does not belong exclusively to the architect or the engineer. It permeates through every individual. 1.1. The first spark, a dream on paper. Every great structure begins with an idea, a spark in someone's mind. It could be a family's dream of a warm home where their children will grow up. It could be an entrepreneur's vision of a modern office building, a symbol of success. Or it could be an entire community's aspiration for a bridge to connect two shores, erasing separation. The joy begins right here, from the very first sketches on a blank sheet of paper. The architect, with a pencil in hand, is not just drawing lines and curves. They are designing living spaces, shaping emotions. Where should this window be placed to catch the most morning sunlight? Is this hallway wide enough to feel welcoming? Is that commute Their joy is that of a storyteller, using space and materials to tell a story of life. The technical drawings, with their thousands of complex details, may look dry to an outsider, but to those in the industry, they are a treasure trove, a promise of great adventure. Every number, every syllable, the structural engineer finds joy in the calculations that ensure the stability of that dream. They are like silent guardians, using their knowledge of mathematics and physics to create an invisible skeleton, strong enough to withstand the nature. Their joy is the peace of mind, the confidence of knowing that their creation will stand firm, sheltered sowing seeds of hope. If the hope is fulfilled, then the groundbreaking ceremony is the moment that soul begins its journey into the physical world. The moment the first excavator bucket digs into the earth is not just a symbolic act. It is a declaration, a thrilling start. The atmosphere on the first day of a project is always special. There is excitement, anticipation, and a touch of celebration. People look at each other, share firm handshakes and smiles full of trust. For the workers, this is when they officially receive their mission. They look at the empty plot of land where weeds might still be growing, and in their minds, their joy is the joy of the new. They know that from their hands, something great is about to be born from this very ground. Feeling the part of the conception, witnessing the transformation of zero, is an invaluable source of information. 1.3. The miracle of formation, and the skeleton of flesh and ear. This is the phase when the joy of creation becomes most apparent and tangible. Day by day, the structure grows and the They know that although their work will soon be covered by concrete and seen by no one, it is the most important part. It turns into very lively environment. Then, concrete is cold. The thick, gray part is like blood being infused into the steel skeleton, making it inside of the solid. When the warm the really soothing, powerful concrete walls and columns, it's a moment of deep satisfaction. It feels like unveiling a curtain to admire a colossal sculpture. As the building's frame rises, joy spreads across the city. Looking up from the ground, the workers seem small compared to the scale of the project, but it is they who are raising it to the sky. Every completed floor slab, every erected wall is a milestone of victory.
Ну сколько весит бегаret, я все вот добиваюсь? Тонн больше 10.
It is a simple but deeply legitimate project. Joy does not only it resides in the small details. The bricklayer finds joy in laying bricks in perfectly straight lines, creating a flat, beautiful wall. The blacksmith finds satisfaction in applying the final coat of render with their trowel, turning a rough surface into one as smooth as silk. The carpenter is happy when a door frame fits perfectly, opening and closing with ease. Every task, no matter how small, is an act of creation, contributing to the overall beauty of the whole. To witness a structure gradually take shape is a unique experience. It is like watching a time-lapse film of evolution. A steel skeleton emerges, then it is clothed in the flesh of concrete and brick, dons a coat of paint, and is fitted with eyes of glass windows. Each stage brings a different kind of joy. It is the joy of conquest, creation, and of making the impossible possible. Chapter 2, the symphony of the site, the sound and rhythm of labor. To an outsider, a construction site is a cacophony of chaotic and unpleasant noise. But for those who are a part of it, it is a living symphony, its own rhythm, its own sections, and containing the very soul of labor. To perceive this symphony is also a joy, a deep connection to the work. 2.1. The special orchestra and its unique instruments. Imagine the construction site as a grand stage, and every piece of machinery, every worker, is a musician with their own instrument. The percussion section. This is the most vibrant and powerful foundation of the symphony. The sound of hammers driving nails into formwork, whack, 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 creates an urgent rhythm. The growl of a concrete drill is resolute and definitive. The clanging of steel bars against each other is sharp and bright. In the distance, the sound of a drill driver thumps into the earth with a deep, majestic beat, like war drums urging the troops forward. These sounds are not noise. They are the heartbeat of the project, a sign of progress, of work being done. The string section, the high-pitched whir of a tile saw or a rebar cutter is sharp and brilliant, soaring like a violin in a crescendo. The faint whine of a crane's winch cable as it lifts materials skyward is a sound of movement, of ascent. The brass section, the blast of the train as it reverses onto the site, the roaring engines of excavators and bulldozers, create the deep, rich undertones of the music. They are the sounds of power, of logistics, ensuring the nourishment of the project never runs out. The vocals. Most important in the symphony is the human voice. These are not idle conversations, but a highly effective language of labor. The loud call of labor, as a concrete clock is raised. The shout of walking to alert attention. During breaks. These sounds breathe life into the site, transforming it from an assembly of inanimate materials into a living, harmoniously functioning body. The joy here is the joy of harmony. Once a person is accustomed to this environment, they can read this symphony. They know that a certain machine's sound means a particular task is underway. They hear a teammate's call and instantly understand. They can feel the urgency in the rhythm of the hammers as a break approaches, and the relaxation in the voices when the day's work has been well completed. The feeling of being a part of that energy flow, of contributing one's own note to the collective symphony, is a joy of belonging. 2.2. The rhythm of a workday. The symphony of the construction site goes with the rhythm of the sun, creating different movements throughout the day. Movement 1. Dawn, allegro fast. Spirit of the new day begins while the sky is still dim. The air is fresh and clean. The first sounds are often the starting of endings, the greetings exchanged among colleagues. The rhythm is still leisurely, but full of energy and preparation. People set their tunes, have a quick morning briefing about the day's tasks. There is a sense of focus and determination in the air. Midnight, we watch in rising, vibrant as the sun climbs higher. The symphony reaches its peak. All the sounds blend together, creating an atmosphere of stronger and more decisive. Energy radiates from every corner. This is when progress progress is most visible. The joy of this time is the joy of giving one's all, seeing the fruits of one's labor appear right before one's eyes. Movement 3, the lunch break, andante flow. The symphony subsides. The machines fall silent. People gather in temporary patches of shade, sharing a simple but warm lunch. They share a piece of meat, a slice of fruit, and tell amusing stories. This is a time to recharge, both physically and mentally. The joy here is one of connection, of feeling like a large family. Movement, the afternoon, rondo recurring, persistent the sounds of birds, but perhaps not as frenetic as in the morning. Everyone focuses on completing the goals set for the day. There is a quiet discipline, a silent effort to overcome fatigue under the harsh afternoon sun. Movement 5, sunset, adagio slow, stately as the sunset, the work complete. The last machines are turned off. The space becomes surprisingly quiet. Only the sound of footsteps and tools being cleaned and put away remains. People look back at the results of their day's work. The silhouette of the structure stretches long across the ground. There is a profound satisfaction in this silence. The joy now is the joy of completion, the peace after a day of dedicated work. Understanding and loving this rhythm is a vital part of life on the construction site. It helps one immerse in the work to feel that each passing day is meaningful and purposeful, rather than just a tedious repetition. Chapter 3, Camaraderie, the glue that binds the pieces. If creation, the soul, and the rhythm of labor is the heartbeat, then camaraderie is the lifeblood that flows through the body of the construction site, nourishing and binding everything together. Construction is never a one-person job. It is the team cooperation, and in that process of collaboration, on a construction site, everyone, from the supervising engineer to the general laborer, is in the same boat, heading towards the same goal, to complete the project safely, with high quality and on schedule. The mutual dependence is immense. The bricklayer needs the helper to mix mortar to the correct ratio. The rebar installation needs the formwork team to be precise. Everyone needs a crane operator to transport materials safely. This interdependence creates a deep sense of responsibility for one's own work and for one's teammates. People know that a small mistake on their part can affect someone else's work and delay the entire project. Conversely, when they do their part well, they are helping their teammates. The joy here comes from trust. When you know that the person next to you is also working their hardest, being careful and professional, you feel more secure and can focus on your own task. This trust is priceless. It transforms a group of individual workers into a powerful team, capable of facing any challenge. 3.2. The language of the site. Camaraderie is also expressed through a unique language that requires no voice. It is a language of nods and glances. A worker on the scaffolding just has to hold up 2 fingers, and the person below knows to send up 2 bricks. A specific whistle can be the signal for everyone to lift a heavy object together. This work is only achieved after a long time of work. It demonstrates an incredible synergy. Dancers are complex routines. Furthermore, there are nuances and signs that only the initiated can understand. These things create a unique cultural identity for each site, helping people feel closer and more connected. It makes the work environment less stressful and adds an element of fun and friendliness. 3.3. Moments of sharing. Camaraderie is nurtured by the smallest but most sincere moments of sharing. When one worker sees a teammate struggling with a heavy steel bar, another will not hesitate to lend a hand, even if it's not their assigned task. Young veteran crafters are taking the lead, passing down great tricks without holding on to their hands. Others just transfer knowledge. They pass on the mission. This self-discipline creates an atmosphere of mutual support, where everyone feels shared and sharing the lunch break is a perfect time to witness this camaraderie. They sit together, one person sharing hot tea, another a cigarette, another a guava from their home garden. They share what little they have. They ask about each other's families and children. The worries and virtues of life seem to lessen in these heartfelt conversations. The joy here is infinite. The knowledge that one is not alone is overcoming hardship together. The construction site is not always smooth sailing. There are days of relentless rain when work halts. There are days when the sun burns like a furnace. There are unexpected and complex technical problems. It is in such difficult times that camaraderie shines brightest. Everyone works together to find solutions, encourages one another, and shelters each other from the storm. After overcoming the challenge, The joy of victory is multiplied because it is the victory of the entire team. The joy of camaraderie is a warm, it transforms the construction site from a mere workplace into a second home. It is the invisible but incredibly strong glue that binds people from different regions, with different backgrounds, into a unified whole. And it is this unified whole that has the strength to erect structures that will stand the test of time. Chapter 4, Overcoming Challenges, the Joy of Conquest. Joy would not be complete without challenges. It is the process of facing and overcoming difficulties that makes the reward all the sweeter. The construction industry, by its very nature, is fraught with challenges, intellectual, physical, and mental. And the joy of conquest is one of the most powerful sources of energy on the site. 4.1 Intellectual challenges. Solving problems with no ready-made answers. Construction is not just manual labor. It demands logical thinking, problem-solving skills, and constant creativity. Deciphering blueprints. A set of construction drawings is a labyrinth of lines, symbols, and numbers. Simply reading, understanding, and visualizing a three-dimensional space from a two-dimensional plan is a challenge in itself. But the greater challenge arises when inconsistencies are discovered, or when systems clash, e.g., a water pipe running through a load-bearing loop. At this point, the engineer, the supervisor, and even the master craftsman must come together, discuss, and find an optimal solution. A clever fix is found, one that ensures technical integrity without compromising the design, brings an immense sense of satisfaction. It is the joy of the intellect, of winning a difficult puzzle, responding to the unexpected. Reality is always different from the drawings. This saying holds true on every site. Perhaps when digging a foundation, they discover an underground spring not shown in the survey, or a specific material is delivered late, or a sudden storm hits. These situations demand quick thinking and adaptability. Plans must be changed to manpower reality, alternative material source. This crisis management process is stressful, but when everything is resolved and the project is back on track, it's indescribable. It is the joy of a captain who has steered their ship through a storm. Innovation in execution. Sometimes, traditional construction methods are not effective for a particularly complex architectural detail. This is when the creativity of the workers shines. They might devise a special type of formwork, a new way to process a material, or a smarter installation sequence. These small innovations not only solve the problem, but also save time and effort. The joy here is pride in one's experience and skill, being not just an executive, but an innovator. 4.2 Physical challenges. The limits of endurance. It is undeniable that a construction is a physically demanding job. Working outdoors, carrying heavy materials, and standing or moving continuously for hours is a great physical test. However, for many genuine laborers, pushing past the body's limits also brings a unique joy. It is a feeling of being fit and resilient. After a day's work, though tired, they feel the strength of their bodies. Their bodies The joy here is not about asceticism, but the satisfaction of knowing you have a healthy body, capable of working to support yourself and your family. At the end of the day, after cleansing yourself and sitting down for a meal, fatigue dissipates, and it is only a sense of relaxation and fulfillment. It is the joy of someone who has completed a day of honest labor with their own strength. It is a very real, very authentic joy. 4.3 Challenges from nature, a dialogue with the elements. The construction site is one of the places where humans most directly confront the harshness of nature. The scorching sun, on summer days, the temperature inside can be extremely high. Steel absorbs heat, concrete radiates. Working under such conditions, stars and balls of hot water.
Este hombre es buscado por matar muchas gallinas. Este maníaco tiene el síndrome de Estocolmo. Lo han visto atrapando gallinas para penetrarlas. Es un maníaco.
The sudden rain can disrupt work, create slippery conditions, and damage materials. When rain is imminent, the whole site bustles like an ant colony. Everyone quickly covers cement and steel and secures machinery. The seamless coordination in these urgent moments reveals a very high sense of responsibility. And when the rain passes, they quickly get back to work, mitigating its effects. The joy in confronting nature is a special one. It gives one the feeling of taming a part of the natural world, of building structures that can shelter people from that very harshness. They do not fight nature, but learn to have a dialogue, to adapt and coexist. The feeling of erecting a sturdy roof that can withstand a storm because they know their effort is creating safety for others. Chapter 5. Beauty in the raw, the joy of materials. Typically, we only marvel at the beauty of a building when it is complete, splendidly painted, and meticulously decorated. But for those in the construction industry, beauty and joy also come from the raw materials themselves, from their pristine nature. 5.1. A dialogue with matter. Each type of construction material has its own personality, its own language. A good craftsman is one who can speak with and understand them. Wood is warm, familiar, and has a distinctive scent. A carpenter finds joy in running a hand over a smooth plank, feeling its grain. The grain tells the story of the tree's years, its life. When they saw a log, it's like opening a new book. The process of turning a rough piece of wood into a fine door frame, a staircase, or an intricate truss system is captivating. Their joy is in giving wood a second life, bringing the warmth of nature into a living space. Stone. Stone is cold, hard, and possesses the beauty of eternity. The stonemason finds joy in conquering its hardness. They use strength and skill to chisel, cut, and polish, transforming a formless boulder into elegant wall cladding or majestic steps. Each hammer strike is a dialogue with the material, an imposition of human will onto matter. When finished, they feel the solidity and permanence in their work. Steel. Steel is resilient, strong, and the skeleton of modern structures. A steelworker doesn't see steel bars as cold metal. They see in them latent power, an extraordinary capacity to bear loads. Their joy comes from bending, cutting, and welding these bars together, creating complex frames and rebar cages exactly according to the technical drawings. They know that these skeletons are carrying the entire weight of the structure, providing safety for hundreds, or even thousands of people. Concrete, as a mix of cement, sand, stone, and water, is pliable and can be molded into any shape. But once it cures, it becomes incredibly strong. The joy of working with concrete is the joy of transformation. Concrete into formwork molds and waits with anticipation. When the formwork is stripped away, a new, solid, and powerful form emerges. Just as before. That feeling is like a sculptor completing their masterpiece. 5.2. The beauty of honesty. There is a special beauty in the phase when a project is still unfinished, when all its structures and materials are exposed. An unplastered brick wall, with its neat rows of reddish bricks, has a rustic and warm charm. A system of exposed concrete beams and columns, displaying the power of its structure, has a beauty of honesty, without concealment. Construction workers get to witness this beauty every day. They see the anatomy of the building, understand how it works, how its parts connect. This joy is like that of a surgeon who knows every organ in the human body. They don't just see the outer shell. They appreciate the internal structure, the very thing that gives the building its life and joy. They take pride in their neat wells, even knowing they will be painted over. They are satisfied with a perfectly straight wall, even knowing it will be plastered. Because they know that the finished beauty on the outside is built upon a foundation of silent perfection on the inside. Chapter 6. Safety is joy, building the future on a solid foundation. In the symphony of the construction site, there is one indispensable note, a foundational note that determines the existence of all other joys. That note is safety. Many might think of safety as dry rules and constraints, but in reality, safety is the source of the most sustainable joy. 6.1. Safety is respect. Adhering to safety regulations is not just about protecting oneself. It is an act of respect for one's colleagues, one's family, and the work itself. Respect for colleagues. When a worker wears a hard hat and properly uses a safety harness, they are not only protecting their own life, they are also bringing peace of mind to those working with them. No one can work joyfully while worrying about the safety of others. A safe work environment is one where everyone can focus completely on their expertise, maximizing creativity and efficiency. The joy here is mutual trust, knowing that everyone is consciously protecting each other. I'm safe, you're safe is the motto of true camaraderie. Respect for family. Behind every worker is a family waiting anxiously. Their greatest joy is not the money earned, but seeing their loved one return home following safety protocols is the greatest gift, the most sincere promise a worker can give to their family. The joy here is peace of mind, a serene feeling of knowing you are working responsibly, not causing your loved one. 6.2. The joy of an incident-free day. At the end of a long day, when the safety manager announces there are incidents on site today, a palpable sense of relief and joy spreads through the ranks. This is not a gift, it is the result of the effort, caution, and awareness of the entire team. This joy may not be as expressive as Everyone can proudly say, we don't just build buildings, we
Нет,
build them
я не
safely.
пишу.
6.8 Innovation for a better workplace. Joy and safety also comes from progress in science and technology. New technologies, modern protective equipment, and smarter work processes are increasingly helping to minimize risks in construction. The use of sturdier scaffolding, cranes with smart warning systems, or robots that replace humans in dangerous tasks all bring joy. It is the joy of seeing the work environment increasingly valuable. It shows that the construction industry is not only growing in scale but also in depth in its concern for human health. Safety is the foundation upon which all other joys can sprout and flourish. Without safety, there can be no transcendent creativity, no complete camaraderie, and certainly no pride in the legacy left behind. Safety is the silent but most important joy, the prerequisite for the symphony of the construction site to be played in its full, meaningful entirety. Chapter 7, The Legacy Left Behind, the Joy of Sustainability and Heritage. This is the final chapter of joy in construction, but it is also the longest lasting, extending beyond the lifetimes of those who created it. It is the joy of seeing the fruits of one's labor become a part of the world, serving the community and leaving a legacy for the future. 7.1 The handover moment, giving a dream away. The day a project is completed and handed over is a true celebration. Everything is clean and tidy. The final photograph is dry. The glass windows sparkle in the sun. The building no longer belongs to the workers. It is about to begin a new year. The atmosphere of a handover ceremony is always formal and emotional. The workers and engineers stand back a little, admiring their spiritual triumph of indescribable power. They might point to a corner of the door frame and think silently, I made that with my own hands. When the keys are handed over, it is not just an object being transferred. It is a home, a workspace, a place to start new stories. Seeing the radiant smiles and